Hi everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I have to keep this intro kind of short because I went all out on this one. This is like my Quentin Tarantino two-part episode. It all started with the joystick of the century, and you'll notice that at the end of this video it didn't even turn out looking like this. So I do want to take this time to throw some shout outs, and I hope to put some links in the bottom. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. To Focus Attack, it's a shop online, possibly.com, that got me some of the parts and the inspiration. Joystick New York, or Joystick NY. I don't know if I can put his, but amazing. Look him up. And then also, I got one more that you won't see. It's an add-on that you'll maybe see in the second part. It's from Bang Gaming. They give me a thank you card and some gold bears. Right on, much love. So, without any hesitation, let's get to the breakdown. I hope you enjoy. In here, supposedly, is going to be 8 buttons and a Sanwa style joystick that I'm going to try to add my little bag of tricks to maybe get more power. If you watch sitcoms in the 90s. If you didn't, you don't understand half the jokes, and I apologize. I know how to package. It feels pretty heavy and dense. Alright. Oh, these look nice. And supposedly, again, these are official Sanwa buttons. 1, 2, oh, 3. We're gonna have to open from both ends. There they are. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's the solder cable, which I'm going to attempt, as you can see, a solderless connection. Oh, this is looking pretty legit. I didn't even get a coupon code. Don't take my code. And that, my internet friends, two dust covers. Cheers. With a four-way gate, that really looks like a traditional Sanwa with the white pivot cup. Well, I'm excited. Ball top. Gonna change that out. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited. What I'm gonna first do is disassemble the old one so I can get all the parts together. We're just getting started. For this section, we're gonna try to take out the joystick assembly. As you see, I already modified the stock joystick with not only a restrictor gate, but this is also a detachable shaft. The joystick assembly for this particular model is assigned to these 8 wires, 2 for each, 4 in all, 8. To help make this a seamless transition, I have attached 2 aftermarket zip ties, 1 on each side of the 8. I think the other one has 8. No, it has considerably more, because it's all the buttons. So that's 8 buttons, so there's 16, 17, 18, 19. That's about a 20 20 wire. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get underneath. That's a very important lesson in electronics. Use sharp tools. And there we go. So with that, if we can just wiggle this piece out, as you can see. To finish, I'm going to take out these 4 screws. And there it is. We'll pretend. The stock assembly, I haven't got my bat on there. The stock joystick assembly is now completely out of our unit. So I'm doing these in sections so that I can kind of get more in detail in each part. This part is going to be the ribbon cable, because I said that I did not want to solder. I would like to use the existing hardware because this is a beautiful design. So what I did was, if you look closely right here in your board, it's going to say up, down, right, left, I think, and then it's going to be ground, 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 ground. If you just take a razor blade and just notch it off on one side, on the side corresponding to what's going to slide up against the plastic, and keep the side on the left so that it slides in the notch, lines up perfectly. Now, it's half the battle, because you still got to get this in the right order to get up, down, left, right, and ground to the new joystick. But at least you got this part, and you can set this aside. Start working on your joystick. So I also popped out one button so I can check out the anatomy of their standard buttons, stock buttons, and see if I can integrate it with a Sanwa micro switch or pretty much anything. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can change some colors around. Have fun with this. If these are even called micro switch. One thing that I did notice is if I pop this out, it's a little easier to move this around so that you can get out these clips, and they are tight little buggers, so just be persistent. Alright, let's talk about buttons. I don't want to go into too much detail or in great depths about how I'm going to change out the buttons, but I did notice that they are almost identical. I want to emphasize how impressed I am on this. Is the stock design. This is the supposed Sanwa traditional button. Look, it's almost identical. We flip it over is the only way we see that the terminals are different, which does make me think that the buttons on the inside are actually different. So I'm going to stick to what I'm supposed to believe are true Sanwa buttons, but because they're so identical, I'm going to change out the top and make two buttons more Nintendo, my A and B. The rest will be black. Before I do that though, I am going to insert a silencing gasket, which only seems like a wise decision for the night gamer. And not too bad. I now have two buttons that I can identify as the A and B. The rest will be this gray. I might even take the back two buttons, like traditional fight sticks, and make those completely black. We'll see in future videos. But let's move on to the next step. Beautiful buttons. This section, this is the dissection of the stock joystick on your 8bitdo arcade stick. Now, I did make one modification. My shaft is an aftermarket shaft because I like the breakaway. That you'll have just a standard shaft on your model. But disassembled, you will have a ball. I've also upgraded this to a bat. Your stock shaft. Your E-clip, which is going to hold your shaft in place. The silver washer that basically sits inside this particular model. Your mounting plate and your bracket that's going to hold all your internals. It's what sandwiches everything together. This is going to be your pivot or your bearing, depending on who you ask, and your spring cap, which will squeeze the tension in your spring to your, I want to say, actuator. Then we'll go to, these are your micro switches. This is your up, down, left, right. They did solder them. I don't know why. And that is all sandwiched with a 4-point restrictor plate. And that is what's inside the stock 8bitdo joystick for the arcade, second edition arcade stick. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the whole purpose of dissecting this is not only to make it look pretty, but it's to give it a traditional Japanese Sanwa joystick action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the crown jewel. This is the traditional Japanese design Sanwa joystick. Now, as much as I love this, there will be some modifications to this. I will be dissecting this much like I did with the other one. I'll try to show you the parts. But one thing that I do want to switch out would be, of course, the shaft. The shaft is going to get a breakaway. I'm also going to keep my E-clip from the other one. I'm going to add a 4-pound tension spring and a thicker actuator. Also, I will be changing the 4-way, which seems to be traditional, to an 8-way with see if I can do it. Replaceable gates. Awesome, huh? Well, let's get to it. I have to say that this assembly was exactly as easy as everybody has mentioned. That silver washer is not unique. This pivot or bearing Doesn't really want to come out, but I'm okay with it because it's got some grease on it. I want to keep that grease because I didn't order any. But this is your base plate and your housing unit. And then we've got the most beautiful and well-designed micro switch panel, easily switchable. And what we'll do is we'll reassemble all of this. So right here we've got the spring cap, and that'll go shallow end first. We're going to assemble what gate we want on our restrictor plate, which this one is an 8-way. When it makes that horrible sound, you know you did good. Now, I actually did not pay attention to how this goes in, but I imagine it's something like this. Should only go one way, right? With that, we will sandwich this all together with the restrictor plate. So far, so good. There's that part. Now all we're missing is, oh, that's smooth. We're going to put the shaft in. Actually, let me show you a couple things why. Because I did say, so this is what's on the traditional. I'm going to upgrade it to this, and I hope you can kind of see. This one is much thicker, so when I hit these buttons in here, it actually makes a much quicker response. And this tension spring is going to keep me at absolute 0. So the last video ended fairly abruptly due to technical difficulty, but we're back up and running, on track. It also gave me some time to actually focus on getting this 4-pound tension spring on here. You have to get your fingernail like right up in here, get the needle nose and squeeze the E-clip. It was quite the feat, but it is complete. For right now, this is the joystick I will be using until I get my next upgrade, which I will document. It is so tight. Can't wait to use it in a game. Next, we put her in. See you then. So I'm filming this in sections so that it makes it a little bit easier to in-depthly describe. As you see, it's got a much cleaner setup the way that I'm doing it. I learned it from Joystick New York. Much love, shout out, check out their page. It's on YouTube. But as you can see, this wire octopus mess into this fine cable. But the reason I do want to show you this part is a button. Doesn't matter which terminal you connect to. So when you're connecting these, just make sure she goes in nice and clicks in. There's 2 side springs that will engage like so. Like so. Then you know you're in. Then from the back, however the wires will let you. Like I said, sometimes it helps to get this one out of the way. Do these one at a time so you don't lose track of your wires. Please. And I did a little bit of wire management just so it's a little bit cleaner. It will feel like it shifts. It's okay. As long as the metal sleeve is squeezing the contact. There we go. There we go. Put the rubber sleeve over it. Make sure you connect that again. And that should give you all your button terminals. That's how my stick's gonna look. How's yours? Next, we will install the joystick.